Motherhood, being pregnant is hard.
And I started to feel very dizzy and weak, and then I could feel blood just gushing. And I thought, I'm just going to die.
You have to know your power, and what maternal health is power.
Trashman didn't get my trash today. Oh, why? Because they want more pay. Buses on strike want a raise in fare, so they can help pollute the air. But that's what makes the world go round. The ups and downs of carousel, changing people's hands around. Go underground, young man. People make the world go
My biggest fear was dying. Preeclampsia is a high-risk pregnancy, and it deals with high blood pressure, swollen legs, all that above. Well, I didn't know anything about it until she told me. Things started changing in my body very quickly. So I called the hospital and I let them know what was going on, and they told me to come in to the hospital that Friday. That was May the 3rd when they told me to come in. So once I went to the hospital, they had me to stay. They had me to stay until Friday, 3 days. And I had my son that Sunday morning.
Right after he came out. So I had an immediate postpartum hemorrhage that was resolved. And then about an hour or so, everyone had left the room except for my husband, who was holding my gigantic 9-pound, 8-ounce child. And I started to feel very dizzy and weak. And then I could feel blood just gushing. And I thought, I'm just going to die. Like, no one is in here. And I'm just going to fall asleep, and they're going to think I'm sleeping, but I can feel myself bleeding. Like, I'm just going to die.
I was high risk. I had a high risk pregnancy. Seeing my legs kind of swell up right before I was leaving the hospital, I was like, wait a second. Like, I've heard of women, passing for things that are missed by medical professionals. So I was like, as I'm leaving, I'm telling the doctor, like, hey, my legs are swollen. And she touches them. Oh, okay. We're going to send you home with some blood pressure medication.
If something is going on through your body, just make sure you have someone there with you at all times. Just like my mother was. She was right there praying for me.
My name is Deborah Frazier. Takesha is my daughter.
She was asking doctors if everything was okay. Some other doctors was kind of quiet, and they were saying everything is fine, but it really wasn't.
Yes, it was very devastating. As she said, I spoke with the doctors and the nurses. And I think I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to keep me calm and everything. They didn't want me to, how can I say, act out of the norm, because they had everything under control. I will say that. Very good doctors, very good nurses. But when I saw them coming in the room, they kept coming in the room, and I got a little hesitant and a little disturbed because I knew something wasn't right.
I had the hardest time trying to give birth to him because my legs were so tight and I could not lift my legs up at all. They had to have 5 nurses to lift my legs up because I could not lift them up at all. I could not lift them up to even get, to get him out of me.
And that's when I started asking questions. I said, is everything okay? And that's when they were telling me, oh yes, everything just fine. Everything is fine. When she did deliver, that the cord, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my grandson's neck 4 times. So therefore, I believe that was one of the reasons why they just kept coming in, checking on him.
We started praying because I was thinking I was going to lose my son. And then they said that his face was blue. And then before you know it, my mother started praying. Everybody started praying.
They're saying everything is fine, but I'm going to continue to do what I do. And what I do as a mother is pray.
Then he started crying. And then as soon as I gave birth to him, all I remember is my nurse, punching on my stomach. And before you knew that, I blanked out. I passed out, and I started hemorrhaging to the point that they was putting so much blood against the walls. Blood clots all over. There were so many nurses on each side, my mother said, because I didn't know that there was nurses like that because I was passed out. My doctor, Dr. Arnold, they had to call him to my room because he wasn't there when I gave birth to my son. So they had to call him up to the room to stop me from bleeding. If he wouldn't have been there, I don't think I would have been here today. Because that's how much blood I lost. That was a scary part for me because I was thinking I was going to lose my life and my son's life as well.
Could have been the other way.
Yes.
But I'm just thankful today that my daughter's still here and I have a handsome grandson, which is so smart. It's just wonderful. It's really a beautiful thing.
So when a woman gets pregnant and she learns she's pregnant, in most cases it's an exciting time and she's anticipating a healthy pregnancy. She, in a perfect world, finds an OB provider and receives quality care when she's at that OB provider. Baby develops. Maybe she has family support around her and how she defines who her family is, and gives birth to a beautiful baby. And they go home from the hospital after a birthing story that she'll be able to share for years to come and that she's proud of. And her baby celebrates their first birthday. That's the perfect world. That perfect world doesn't always exist for everyone. And a large majority of our population get pregnant. And one of the first things that they feel is, am I going to survive this? Is my baby going to survive this?
Be no life for me. If the sun stops shining, there'll be no love for me. There will be
So, if you are not familiar with social determinants within community and families, it can really have an impact on your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. So just imagining a baby being within the womb and they're not getting the proper nutrition. That is going to have an effect on them from an infant all the way to the first year of life. The most biggest concerns when I'm working with families in Guilford County is food. It's definitely, Guilford County is one of the food deserts. That's what I love about the colleges, surrounding colleges. North Carolina A&C does have a wonderful programs, and it does embed that back into the community, whether with food stamps, a snack program, just giving out events, free events to the community. I feel like that's something we are slowing down and recognizing.
Okay, so if the biggest thing you can do for your health is diet, and it is, the absolute best thing you can do for your health is to clean up your diet, right? And by clean up, I mean eat a lot of plants. Well, let's look at where that is, accessible. We have a food market downstairs. It's lovely. I tell patients all of the time, Thursdays are the day that we get fresh produce in. Please stop by on Thursday. Load up.
For the camera, you okay?
Yeah, okay, so like I've been hurting right here.
Oh no.
I don't know why.
You told your doctor?
I think it's more. No, I had to talk to the doctor. My name was Ganaya Watlington. I am 23. years old, and I'm 19 weeks pregnant. Yes, I worry a lot about food and where my next meal's gonna come from. Sometimes I go to the urban ministry.
And right now, one of the biggest food pantries in the entire Triad is in need itself during these tricky times. The Greensboro Urban Ministry Food Pantry says it only has enough food to get it through the next 2 weeks.
But there's times to where like that food gets old, or the refrigerator in the hotels is not big enough to really store everything that we get from the place, so it goes bad.
Another issue is housing. If you do not know, Guilford County suffers. We do not have enough shelters. Unfortunately, family shelters, women's shelters, men's shelters. It's not a safe space.
I just recently got evicted with my mama out of the motel, whatever. I live in a motel. I've been going through kind of homelessness my whole entire life, honestly. From house to house to house with my mom, without my mom, so it's honestly not nothing new. I've never had nowhere of my own to call, like, a home or whatever.
That is going to have an effect on them from an infant all the way to the first year of life, including their mobility. If a family is homeless, the child is not crawling. They can't build those motor skills to even do the walking that they're supposed to be doing.
Movement is the second thing. So cleaning up your diet is number one. Movement is the second thing. Do people live in areas that aren't either crime-filled or rumored to be crime-filled, so there's police everywhere and nobody wants to go outside because they're, patrolling?
Do you feel safe in your current living situation?
No. I mean, there's a lot going on over there at that hotel. Like, people be dying, getting shot, stabbed. Shit, I got cut open over there. I didn't even tell you that story, but that happened last year.
Do you have access to a therapist? Because everybody in this country needs a therapist. Everybody.
I was going through Monarch. I was taking therapy and medications and stuff to like try to help with my attitude problem. It worked for a little minute, but my vice got the best of me. I couldn't stop drinking, so now I'm taking pills and I'm drinking, and it's making me more erratic, if that's the word to say. I think, yeah, erratic. I was acting crazy. I started getting out of body and stuff, and it wasn't working out. So I literally just stopped taking the medication instead of stopping the actual problem.
I forgot to record, my bad. But currently about to get my day started. Have to get my little one ready, and he has about maybe almost an hour to get to school, and then me and Essie will be at home for today. Say good morning. Morning. I'm brushing my teeth. Brush. That's what we're doing. I typically would make them breakfast or like have them eat something, grab a snack or something, like a little thing of cereal or a Nutri-Grain bar or something like that. So currently eating Nutri-Grain bars. Just for the couple of minutes or hour or two they have before they eat breakfast at school. And then today I do have some business to take care of. I got a few phone calls and everything like that. I got laundry to do and all of that. Just wanted to say hello, and here's the start of her life. I have the 8-year-old daughter She's the oldest. Then I have a 5-year-old son, a 1-year-old son, and then a 2-month, almost 3-month-old daughter. I feel like with postpartum, it's not too many of a red flags that you can kind of, oh, I know I'm doing this, that's out of the norm, or anything like that, because we shelter ourselves so much when it comes to tragedies or traumatic events or just day-to-day life. I feel like it's mainly like when I get overwhelmed or stressed, I'll start freaking out, my anxiety. I kind of use that instead of drinking or smoking anything else or lashing out, but I'm trying to get back into writing poetry or just writing out my day. It can be an everyday. It could be an everyday process. It could be something that you don't even know you're dealing with.
Also experienced some postpartum anxiety. Didn't realize it until I came into this role, and I was like, I had a participant that had postpartum anxiety. I was like, wow, it seemed like that was me. While I was pregnant, I had a goal. I wanted to breastfeed. I was like, I definitely want to do that for my son. And I did have some barriers when it came to having support with breastfeeding. And when I was having difficulties, when my son was about 5 months, he wasn't quite latching onto one of my breasts, and I didn't quite understand why, and it was still painful. Found out he had a tongue tie, and we were trying to I was getting him seen because I didn't realize he had a tongue tie until I was in a breastfeeding support group, because I almost gave up.
Mommy, it's almost done.
Almost. My postpartum journey with 2 under 2 has been crazy. The most challenging thing of my life. And this is coming from a woman who's lost both parents, who's been in all realms of social work as a psychiatric social worker, foster care social worker. 2 under 2 has been more challenging than all of that. I thought it would be a little better than it actually was. It really takes a toll. I'm a stay-at-home mom. So I'm dealing with 3 different personalities. I'm breastfeeding. I'm doing a lot of things that I don't want to do when I don't want to do it, but it has to get done within a certain time frame. It definitely has beautiful moments, but I've stretched myself way more than I've ever stretched myself. However you're feeling, you have to take care of 3 little ones and 2 that are still crying. So something about being a new mom that people don't talk about is that you will definitely be tested with your time management. And if you're breastfeeding, it's going to take all your energy out. Sometimes family will be like, oh, just get your kids on a schedule and everything will work out. Or things will get better. And it's not as easy as saying put the kids on a schedule, because how you schedule one kid doesn't mean the other kid just follows suit. I'm basically handling 2 different schedules and plus my own. And I think what they don't also say is you lose a lot of yourself, and it takes a lot of strength and discipline to really find yourself and include you back in your daily routine. And I don't feel like enough people talk about that.
I feel like postpartum, especially with Black mothers or even fathers, a lot of fathers have postpartum and they don't realize it or acknowledge it because it's not spoken about.
I think you always need someone, in your corner to support you, because you can be pulled in different directions, especially postpartum.
My name is Chuck.
Hi, and I'm Courtney Quinn, and we have been married almost 7 years.
No, as a Black father, I do not feel like there is a lot of conversation. I think the culture says a lot. Making babies seems to be the thing to do right now. I probably wouldn't mind some organizations with some information, let you know what to expect as a man get ready for fatherhood, especially a Black man. Yeah, different.
This was your first baby, so you didn't know what to do.
She was like,
didn't know what to
we were watching the movie, and I'm like, man, chill out. Like, she was like, I'm in pain. I'm like, you good? Let's make some eggs real quick.
Yep. We ate.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait.
It was quick. It was surreal when you wait 9 months and then the doctor says you're about to have it now. It's almost like I don't know, it's weird. Maybe as a man, it made me feel weird, like you about to see what's been cooking for 9 months. You know what I'm saying? So it's different.
And I think what they don't tell you, like in movies, when you're going into labor, how quickly it goes from like 15 minutes to now every 10 minutes to every 7, it happens so fast. I don't think we're getting a good representation of what the birthing experience is in these movies and TV shows, because I mean, we watch a lot of comedies. I'm trying to think of different movies or television shows where there's Black people, and they're usually always comedic or in a back of a car, or they just do this miraculous thing and the woman's just like angry, like, I didn't feel that. like all mines have been really, really fast. In movies, they're very slow.
And I also feel like so much about birthing is behind closed doors in a way. And so the only things that we really learn about birthing is through television, and that's unrealistic.
Yeah, it was different. Yeah. Show that, like, you know, it's glamour. TV makes it look fun, but
yeah,
for real,
women always look so pretty, put together, delivering their baby. My experience in having our first kid, I felt, like I said, a lot of anxiety, a lot of just didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what anything felt like, so I was nervous the whole entire time. I had a lot of grace for my husband because this was our first child.
My experiences from, I guess, 1 to 3. The first one, like I said, it was just surreal. It was happening fast. We get there, she's like, yeah, we gotta rush you to the room. You about to have a baby now? And I'm like, all right, I think I drank they give them some nice cold water, and I think I drank it.
You drank all of it?
That water, something different. That water's from the spring or something.
They're like, oh, we got you some water. Oh.
Yeah, I drank it. She always goes last minute. She's a very high pain tolerance. Like, by the time to get there, she's 20 minutes from having a baby.
Yeah.
So that one, same thing. And then the third one, though, the doula was cool. I remember she said she wanted a water birth, and the water was like brown in the tub, and didn't nobody notice. And I'm like,
you noticed.
The water is brown. They were like, oh, it is. We should pour it out. I'm like, did nobody notice this water is brown? But anyway, the third one was good for me too. Like by the third time, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this baby come out of this woman, and I did watch, and it was God. That's all I can say. That's God did that.
I wasn't like regulating my breath enough, and me holding it tight, and the baby couldn't breathe. So it was the baby that wasn't breathing, right?
So that was scary for me. This child is definitely looking to both you guys doing this pregnancy when she's delivering. Again, I didn't know. I couldn't imagine a woman doing that by themselves and the man just don't care. Like that seems horrible to me. I'll be honest with you. So I definitely understand that it's needed.
Yeah.
It takes two to make it for a reason.
I did not have much support. So it was just me and my husband here in Greensboro, originally from New Jersey, and all my in-laws are in the Wilmington area. My dad is in Rocky Mount, so everyone's 2.5 to 3 hours away. So it was just me and him. And he was at the time a full-time truck driver over the road, and he switched to what they call regional once a week. Like, so he was gone for the week, home on the weekends. So I was pretty much by myself. I didn't have much support. I had some family members that would ask me questions like, you don't need to do that, oh, that's nasty, or like, why you want to breastfeed, or they wanted to feed him but didn't quite understand that I have to feed him, I need to still hold him like afterwards. However, my husband was very supportive. He was like the only person that supported me during my breastfeeding journey, and he would bring me food, drinks, whatever I needed. And he also stood up for me when like our family members would come and have like questions or say things. That was weird and odd, but it was great, honestly. I'm grateful for him, right? Because he always, whatever decision I made, we talked it over, even if he had questions or he was concerned, right? Because he didn't know much about what was going on, right? He's like, I don't breastfeed. So he was just, in general, overall, he's like, give me the details, give me all the information, let me ask, questions that I have with the doctors, and he would back me.
Yeah, okay, so how are you feeling about your current situation?
Stressed, overwhelmed, frustrated, Being a supportive partner is very stressful. I found it kind of hard to be encouraging to her when I don't really have I'm not really feeling inspired myself. So it's nice, but I also understand how overwhelming it can be, just having only that other person to rely on, and then them only having you to rely on. So it can be a very crushing position, but I wouldn't trade it. Like, it's a good dynamic. I feel like we're still learning each other in the process.
My advice to Black fathers, be patient and just try to communicate and consider her feelings, because they're on a roller coaster of feelings. And I would just try to say, be patient, be kind, and just think of what they're going through. Their body's changing. You know, look up how the body organs move around just so that baby can come, and just be thankful, man.
Some advice I would give fathers is to never stop asking how you can be a support. Like, maybe something worked one day, but maybe she needs something else the next day. I know you speak a lot through food and wanting food, but sometimes maybe I just need the dishes washed, or I need 10 minutes, everyone out the house, for me to have some mental space just to wash my face and brush my teeth without hearing mom, or without just worrying about other people. I feel like as moms, we're always worrying about everybody. So it's nice to kind of check out and be like, okay, this is just my moment to take a bath and wash my face, and y'all can come, 20 minutes later. It gets better. It gets better. You can do a lot more than you think you can do. You may think, I can't do this, but you can, and you will, and you'll probably surpass 3 times more than you thought. So just keep that in mind, that you have way more in you than you give yourself credit.
I wouldn't trade it. Like, it's a good dynamic. I feel like we're still learning each other in the process. So
my advice to Black fathers, be patient and just try to communicate and consider her feelings, because they're on a roller coaster of feelings. And I would just try to say, be patient and be kind, and just think of what they're going through. Their body's changing. Look up how the body organs move around just so that baby can come, and just be thankful, man.
Some advice I would give fathers is to never stop asking how you can be a support. Like, maybe something worked one day, but maybe she needs something else the next day. I know you speak a lot through food and wanting food, but sometimes maybe I just need the dishes washed, or I need 10 minutes, everyone out the house, for me to have some mental space just to wash my face and brush my teeth without hearing mom, or without just worrying about other people. I feel like as moms, we're always worrying about everybody. So it's nice to kind of check out and be like, okay, this is just my moment to take a bath and wash my face, and y'all can come, 20 minutes later. It gets better. It gets better. You can do a lot more than you think you can do. You may think, oh, I can't do this, but you can, and you will, and you'll probably surpass 3 times more than you thought. So just keep that in mind, that you have way more in you than you give yourself credit.
So doulas are an extension of your existing village, or the support that you do not see within your lived village. So doulas, we provide physical, emotional, and informational support, whether that is during your pregnancy, labor, and childbirth experience, immediate postpartum. At the time, I was a doula not knowing what the word was, not knowing what a doula was, and she was like, you should take this training. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. And my eyes were open to a world that I didn't know existed. Before going into the work, I thought you had to be a nurse to help people as it relates to maternal health. But there are other roles that supports the work of a nurse, supports the work that goes on in the system. And there are other things that has to take place before a client actually gets to the hospital to birth, or before they actually get to the clinic or the provider for care. And so my push was someone pushing me.
I really hate this answer. The way that this is traditionally explained is that a midwife provides clinical care to a patient, and a doula provides emotional, physical support. traditionally, and when I say traditionally, I mean before the medical establishment stole this work from us. Again, it used to be the care team was centered on the midwife. You didn't have this separation of midwife and doula. You had the midwife and their team, and the team was comprised of birth attendants. Some of the birth attendants would be training to be a midwife. Some of them were just birth attendants. They just, that's what they aspired to be, which is a fantastic thing to be. And then we entered the medical industrialized complex. We drove all of the midwives out of practice. Well, and then, public health nurses were like, ooh, this is a good way to service the poor. And, it got this separation.
So I think it is very impactful that we're going to be hosting a doula roundtable event, capturing doulas within our own community and their perspective on Black maternal health, infant development, social determinants, and how together as a community and collectively we can face those barriers and move forward. The Doula Roundtable is going to be very critical to doulas because we don't usually have the opportunity to sit in a room and actually talk about our experiences. Why is this so important? Because right now a lot of change is happening legislatively, and we have to stay together. Alrighty, welcome to the Doula Roundtable. We are so excited for this opportunity together, and we're going to go ahead and get engaged and start talking about our community. So, ladies, first things first, the role of Black doulas in maternal health. Let's talk about it. What impact do we make as doulas?
We make a huge impact because we have, come into this industry heavy compared to what it used to be. We have seen an increase of women having better births. We have seen a decrease. That's something to talk about right there.
So I like the question because it asks why are doulas needed in the OR room. Previously, doulas weren't allowed, and now it's still a fight for a doula to go in the OR room. Nonetheless, to even be OR trained, to know the language, to know what does my supportive role look like as a doula in the OR space. We still fighting for that inherent differentiality.
We are.
Just making sure that we still remember the individual as a human, because as a doula, I'm there to serve the birthing person and the family. As the medical provider, they see the client as their patient. And they see like a checklist, okay, this isn't happening, what's next? Not thinking about slowing it down, not thinking about being calm, which is why there's so much going on. So I think it's very important just to highlight that it's still a fight for us to even be in the OR space. Like right now, only one person can go in the vet with the client. Why? What's the medical reason that only one person can go in the vet with the client? There isn't one. And so I think I love that question because it highlights the issue in what's affecting and bringing these outcomes on our Black and Black families.
Carry on the tradition, be a safe place for Black women specifically, so that they can see all of the options that they truly and be empowering those.
So the
Turn around the table.
I appreciate you ladies so much. Y'all can always depend on me. God lead me, okay? I believe it. Yeah, no. This was needed.
Don't you be crying now,
Or sneezing. Nothing to call me out, because I will cry. Right. Everybody knows and all.
I hate the separation. We should all be on the same team. We should be the birth attendants for the people who are in labor, and we should all be working together.
So yes, I am a new doula. I finished my doula training back in June, and I actually completed 3 births. So I'm working towards getting my certification through the DTI. I actually was able to become a doula through Every Baby Guilford's program. I think this work is beneficial. It is very beneficial to support minority and women of color because they're not being supported and believed when they go into those spaces to give birth. So having someone that is there for them to be able to speak up for them, advocate for them, it's important. It empowers them. It is great work. It's tough, it's tiring. However, it pours into them
So with doulas, we are actually joining our community workers, and we're working with folks who are moving and shifting in the system. So we are a part of the support team. And what I would love for folks to understand about Black maternal health is it doesn't start at pregnancy. It starts preconception. It starts with education. It starts with assessing the knowledge, whether that's online, going to a class, a support group. A lot of folks don't know that you can actually join support groups before you are classified as pregnant or before you're in your 4th term of pregnancy. So it's not just that one window of pregnancy. Pregnancy is anywhere from 40 plus weeks, but the lifetime of Black maternal health is forever.
Good afternoon. My name is Deb Harris Richardson, and I currently serve as the president and CEO of the Shirley T. Fry YWCA Greensboro.
Jean Workman Elms. I'm the program manager of Every Baby Guilford here at the Guilford County Department of Public Health and with the Department of Health and Human Services.
Courtney Hall, she, her. Owner of Bump Baby Bliss Doula Counseling and Ultrasound Studio.
The YWCA is a worldwide movement. We're in 106 countries. We're serving more than 25 million members around the world. There are 197 YWCA associations in the United States. We are the only YWCA in Greensboro and have been serving this community since 1903.
In 1991, the Guilford County Coalition on Infant Mortality was created. It was created because the infant mortality rates at that time in the late 80s and early 90s were astronomical in Guilford County. And a group of community members along with public health staff came together to identify ways in which, as a county, we could tackle those high infant mortality rates, and they formed the Guilford County Coalition on Infant Mortality.
Right, so the services that we offer through this practice, and we call it a studio because we were trying to find a name that was most beneficial for all the things that we do. But the ideal and what it is a one-stop shop for all of your pre- and postpartum needs. So Bump Baby Bliss Doula Counseling and Ultrasound Studio. So when we say birth doula services, that includes birth doula services, placenta encapsulation, childbirth education classes, breastfeeding support, birth preferences or planning. Oh my goodness, all the things under birth. And if it's something that I cannot personally offer, I would love to connect someone with the resource. We have a huge resource list and connections with people as well.
So glad that you had some time to come and visit us today. Let me show you what we do around here. Anytime we have a program going on, we want to make sure that our parents can concentrate on whatever activity is happening, and the children, our preschoolers, can come right into this space and be supervised and have their own experience. This space can be used for after school kind of work, for tutoring, or when there might be a specific session going on with a parent and they want to make sure that their children are still in this space with them. We use this space quite often for our older young people. And then moving on to our multi-purpose space, this space can comfortably seat about 125 people. We've got, of course, plenty of tables and chairs that we can assemble in whatever ways we need to do interactive, educational, recreational kinds of program, from a dance class to a workshop to just about anything that you can think of. Our Family Success Center has a couple of dedicated spaces, and one of them is a beautifully appointed classroom space. And then right next door to that space, we have another opportunity for folks to get some work done or have a conversation, practice interviewing skills, those kinds of things. Then we have one of our favorite rooms called our sunroom, which is right next door. It's just another configuration that people can come into. We can accommodate about 20 people in here. And we can also change the configuration of this space or any of these spaces to accommodate whatever kind of activity happens to be going on. So I mentioned a little earlier that we do have an emergency family shelter, so I'm going to take you through another way. We are en route to the family shelter. Come on into our commercial kitchen. When we came into this building, we wanted to look at different kinds of ways that we could invite the public in to utilize this space. And we are one of very few commercial kitchens that are available for rent in this community. If, for instance, I was a commercial baker and wanted to sell my goods, I would need to prepare my baked goods in a commercial kitchen. So we've got one right here. the common area for our emergency family shelter, where we have the ability to serve about 30 individuals, although we only have 23 beds at this particular time. In this space, we are having some meals, we're doing lots of homework, we may be having a community meeting, we might be doing a mindfulness class, or our children might be playing some games or watching some television. Now, what I'm going to show you next may not seem like a big thing, but it is. Because if I am a resident here at the shelter, I may not have the time, transportation, or the money to go to a laundromat. But look, we've got 3 washers and 3 dryers, which means that I will have an opportunity to take care of my family's needs with a sense of dignity. It may not seem like a big thing, but it is a big thing to us to have this facility available. And then I'm going to show you one room. This room isn't completely together yet, but it's clean. This is going to be a room for a family of 2. The beds will be made with pillows. We'll have some toiletries here. We will have a backpack available for the children. We'll have some socks and whatever else we have available, we'll have it here. It's not glamorous, but it's clean. So this is how we get the room started. But as I mentioned, this room is not complete, but it would be complete by the time a family came into this space. When our families come in the afternoon at 3:30 when the family shelter opens, we're going to have some snacks laid out for folks because they would have been out all day, working, going to school or whatever, and they will have access always to get something hot to drink or to make some soup, or in the mornings to make a sandwich or whatever folks might need. So thanks for joining us this afternoon. And our administrative offices are upstairs, but I won't bother taking you upstairs today. We could do that on another day. Be involved with your community. Find some areas that you have a passion about and get yourself engaged and involved. Find ways that you can support those initiatives and those organizations that you think are important. This is not a time in our society to stay silent. Speak up. I encourage all of us in community to stand with each other, stand for each other, and support each other so that we can lift ourselves out of some of the challenges that we are facing.
So with that being said, you have to be very intentional about speaking up for yourself. I'm not saying argue with doctors or providers or, question them on what they know about this, but the reality is a lot of people just don't want to give their best these days.
Effective visions in a community don't start by spontaneous combustion, but somebody must ignite a flame. And we are the flame starters in this work. Individuals have been doing it for years, and collectively now we're creating this roaring fire in our community, saying that no more, that we want an equal playing field for all individuals giving birth in Guilford County so that every baby gets the chance to celebrate their first birthday and beyond.
Hello, my name is Kelsey, and today we are capturing B-roll for our documentary Through Her Eyes, Behind the Scenes of the Maternal Health Crisis. Come along with us. Great. Beautiful.
Behind the scenes of the Doula Roundtable.
Where did I do that? You have a good crew. Stay over here, maybe.